They think I build apps and fix routers. What I really do is sell lies to the highest bidder, and now I can't stop. The worst part is how easily the lines blur. I used to think dual lives were a Hollywood fantasy, masked vigilantes and cheating spouses. But mine started slowly, like a leak beneath the floorboards. You don't notice the damage until it's soaked into everything. By day, I'm tech support turned team lead. 9 to 5, I troubleshoot cloud deployments, write clean code, mentor junior devs. My wife beams when she introduces me at barbecues. He's in IT, works from home, super smart. I smile politely, flipping burgers, pretending that's all I am. But after dinner, when my daughter's asleep and my wife's watching crime dramas in the other room, I turn on a different set of monitors. Different Slack channels, different VPN, different rules. I work for an outfit called Sway. That's not their real name. They don't have one, not really. Just usernames, crypto wallets, and encrypted drives. Our job is simple: manipulate perception. Sometimes it's boosting a shitty app through fake 5-star reviews. Other times it's drowning a scandal in noise, flooding forums with distractions. The darkest jobs involve politics, fabricating outrage, stirring division. We make hashtags trend. We rewrite narratives. We bury truths. It started 7 years ago when a friend from an IRC channel sent me a link. You're good with bots, yeah? Want to make some real money? I was a fresh grad, buried in debt, and the IT firm I worked for had just restructured me out of a paycheck. My first job? Write a crawler that auto-liked and upvoted a set of posts across a network of sock puppet accounts. The client sold overpriced herbal supplements. My script made it look like thousands of real people were suddenly into liver detox pills. They paid me $400 for 2 hours of work. That $400 turned into $800, then $2,000. Within a year, I wasn't just writing code. I was managing content calendars, ghostwriting posts, designing fake, organic engagement. I created entire personas, each with a backstory, preferences, political leanings. We called them skins. I wore them like clothes. Sway liked my work, said I was a natural. Soon, they gave me access to Blackroom, a secure dashboard where we could deploy operations at scale. I stopped worrying about rent. I upgraded to a house in the suburbs. My wife thought I'd gotten a raise. I let her believe it. At first, I rationalized it. I told myself I wasn't hurting anyone, just gaming the system. Everyone does it. Ads lie, politicians spin, influencers pretend. I was just playing the game better than most. But then came the campaign. It was an election year. A candidate's team reached out through a cutout. They wanted us to flood the opposition's subreddits with disinformation. Not just memes and troll posts, fabricated accusations, deep-faked videos, fake testimonials from survivors. My part was writing the copy. I had to make it feel real, angry, personal, and I was good at it. Scarily good. One of my fake posts, about a supposed affair with a campaign intern, got picked up by a real news aggregator. Within hours, it was trending on Twitter. By morning, the candidate's poll numbers had dropped 7 points. I watched the fallout in silence, eating eggs with my family, while my phone buzzed with encrypted congrats messages. That's when the nausea started. A creeping, existential dread I couldn't shake. I'd stare at my daughter playing with her blocks and think, one day, she'll grow up in a world I helped distort. But I didn't stop. Because here's the thing about Sway. Once you're in, you don't just leave. Not because they threaten you. Though, let's be honest, they could. It's subtler than that. They pay too well. They flatter your skills. They make you feel indispensable, like a magician behind the curtain, pulling the strings. And on bad nights, nights when I can't sleep and my conscience chews through the walls of my brain, I wonder if I even want to stop. I've become addicted to the power. Not fame, not recognition. I get none of that. Just the quiet, perverse thrill of rewriting reality and watching the world react exactly how I predicted. But recently, something's changed. I think they're testing me. 2 weeks ago, I got a new assignment. Seed panic about a supposedly tainted vaccine batch in a specific county. Use local Facebook groups, mommy forums, WhatsApp chains. The objective? Drive people toward a new wellness product our client's about to launch. Only, that's my county. My daughter's school is in that county. And the lies I'm supposed to spread? They're going to make real people panic. Maybe skip vaccines. Maybe get sick. Maybe worse. I stared at the assignment for an hour, hands shaking over the keyboard. I didn't accept it. I didn't decline, either. I just left it sitting there, like a ticking bomb. Then, this morning, I found a message in my Blackroom inbox. No sender, no subject. Just one line. We noticed you're hesitating. After I read the message, we noticed you're hesitating, I sat in my office chair for a long time, just staring at the screen. I should have closed Blackroom, logged off, walked away and hugged my daughter. But I didn't. I just sat there, sweating, trying to figure out if it was a bluff. I built the damn system. I should have known if it was watching me. But then again, I wasn't the only one building things. SpectraSway constantly changed hands. Teams came and went like ghosts. Scripts improved without warning. Permissions silently shifted. I had access to a lot, but not everything. And the few times I tried to peek deeper, I got locked out faster than I could say root access. The hesitation wasn't just about ethics. It was about what I was risking. If I backed out of this job, they'd replace me within minutes. Worse, they might decide I was a liability. I'd seen it happen. A guy named Marcus once ghosted mid-project, stopped replying to pings, went off-grid. 3 weeks later, his wife filed for divorce, citing mysterious financial drains and compromising photos she received anonymously. We all knew who sent them. They don't kill you. They just ruin you. So instead of ghosting, I played dumb. Opened the assignment again, clicked a few links, made it look like I was working. Just enough movement to stay off the radar. Then I shut everything down, wiped my browser, and went upstairs to help my kid with her Lego tower. But even then, I felt it. That buzz. That prickling sensation at the back of my neck. The sense that someone was watching not just my keystrokes, but my life. The next morning, a package arrived. No return address. Inside was a USB drive and a sticky note. Test me. Just that. My heart dropped. I'd been paranoid before, of course I had. You don't do what I do without developing a nervous twitch or three. But this was new. This was personal. I didn't plug in the USB. I drove to a friend's co-working space across town, used a sandboxed rig, and ran the drive in a virtual environment. Took me 4 hours to break the obfuscation. What was on it? A log of every text I'd sent in the past month. My private notes app. Audio clips from my work Zooms, some I didn't remember being recorded. One clip was of me, talking to myself while reviewing the assignment, muttering, Jesus, this could actually hurt someone. It was surveillance. Tailored, surgical, and scarily thorough. They weren't just watching. They were listening. Anticipating. But here's what rattled me the most. They didn't tell me to do the job. They didn't threaten. They just made it clear that they could ruin me, then handed me the match. A test, they said. Test of what? Loyalty? Fear? Conscience? I didn't sleep that night. My wife noticed. Asked if I was stressed about work. I said yes. Gave her some crap about deadlines and QA backlogs. She offered me a back rub. I said I'd take a rain check. I think that was the first time I ever saw her disappointed in me and didn't know how to fix it. The next day, I opened the county Facebook group I was supposed to infiltrate. Watched the real people post about bake sales, missing pets, community alerts. Moms asking for pediatrician Rex, dad sharing corny memes. Just normal people. My people. I couldn't do it. I know how this sounds. I know the irony. I've faked compassion 1,000 times, weaponized empathy for likes and shares. But this wasn't just code or content. This was flesh and blood. So I did something stupid. I messaged one of the moderators of the group from a burner account. Told her someone was about to start a misinformation campaign. Told her to be vigilant, to lock down new member approvals and report suspicious posts. I even sent her a fake news sample with a warning. This is bait. Don't let it spread. I thought I was being careful. Covered my tracks. Used proxies. Encrypted everything. But the next day, my Blackroom access was revoked. No warning. Just gone. Like I'd never existed. That should have been the end. But it wasn't. A week later, my company, my real, daytime job, got an anonymous tip about ethical violations tied to me. HR called me in for a Zoom. They were polite but suspicious. Said I might be under investigation soon. They didn't say what for. Then my wife got an email. Anonymous. A screenshot of one of my SpectraSway burner posts, one I'd written years ago under a fake identity, mocking a local charity drive. Nothing criminal. Just cruel. She didn't say anything that night. Just stared at me during dinner like she was trying to do the math on a stranger. That's when I realized I wasn't just losing control of the narrative. I was becoming the next story. I should have seen it coming. For years, I fed the beast. And now, the beast was hungry for me. When my Blackroom access disappeared, it wasn't just a lockout. It was an execution. I didn't even get to say goodbye to the other ghosts. Just a cold digital silence, like I'd never been there at all. No messages. No closure. And then the fallout began. My real job's HR sent another email, pinning investigation into allegations of professional misconduct. Please refrain from client-facing interactions. No details, no explanation, just the news tightening. My team lead buddy, Jared, tried texting me. Hey man, you good? Some weird stuff going around. I didn't answer. What could I say? Yeah, just being quietly dismantled by the shadow operation I used to ghostwrite for. How's your sprint backlog looking? At home, things got worse. My wife, Lisa, finally confronted me. She held up her phone and said, Is this you? I didn't even have to look. I could tell by the way her voice cracked. It was the burner post. The cruel one. I had written it 4 years ago as a quick throwaway to stir controversy on a parenting forum. Something about grifting single moms using their kids as emotional leverage. It wasn't personal, none of them ever were. But try explaining that to the mother of your child while she's holding a screenshot of you mocking someone who sounds suspiciously like her. I tried to lie. I don't know what that is. She didn't buy it. You think I'm stupid? No, I said. I think you're the only real thing in a life full of fiction. That line might have worked if this were a movie, but real life isn't scripted. She walked out of the room, slept on the couch, didn't kiss me goodnight. The next morning, I packed my laptop and drove. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed to be away from the house, from the silence, from the choking sense that everything I'd built was slipping between my fingers like sand soaked in oil. I ended up at a coffee shop we used to visit when we were dating. I sat in the back corner, pretending to work, pretending to exist. My phone vibrated every few minutes, emails, Slack pings, even a LinkedIn request from someone named Theo R. I clicked his profile. There was no job listed. No photo. Just one sentence. You can't undo the past. But you can choose your ending. Spectrus way. They were playing me. Again. That night, Lisa handed me a manila envelope. Inside was a stack of printed posts, all mine. Burners, fake reviews, political bait. All traced back to usernames I'd long abandoned. I didn't ask how she got them. I just stared at the ink and tried to remember when I'd stopped being a person and started being a product. She looked at me and said, "You lied to me for years. I never cheated on you," I blurted, because it was the only kind of betrayal I hadn't committed. "But you cheated reality," she whispered. "You brought that poison home." I wanted to argue. I wanted to say, I did it for us. For the mortgage. For the stability. For the goddamn security you said you wanted. But the truth is, I didn't do it for us. I did it because it felt good to matter. Because power is addictive. Because the rush of knowing I could move digital mountains with a few keystrokes made me feel less like a cog and more like a god. And now, the god was being exiled. She didn't ask me to leave. She didn't have to. The space between us did it for her. That night, I opened an old offline server, one I hadn't touched in years. It held logs, scripts, backup data. The whole anatomy of Spectrus Way's rise. And tucked inside, in a hidden folder, were chat transcripts. One caught my eye. Client, what if he flips? Admin, he won't. He's already too deep. Client, and if he does? Admin, then we bury him in truth. That's the genius of their system. They don't need to fabricate lies about you. They just need to reveal the ugly truths you gave them willingly. I sat in the dark, staring at my own damn confession. I had become the cautionary tale. I made the decision at 3:42 a.m., because of course I did. No one makes sane choices at that hour, not when you haven't slept in 2 days and the only light in the room comes from an aging ThinkPad and your own rapidly deteriorating sense of righteousness. I was going to blow the whistle. I still had the receipts. Server logs, email trails, metadata on burner accounts, even timestamps of fake reviews and coordinated hashtag searches. I'd been paranoid enough to keep encrypted backups, an old habit from before Spectrus Way decided I was an asset worth managing. There was a reporter I remembered from a Wired expose years ago. Tech-focused, skeptical, just conspiratorial enough to listen without immediately assuming I needed a straitjacket. Her name was Dana Kessler. I drafted a burner email, attached a sample of the logs, and wrote a subject line that read, "Whistleblower. I helped rig the internet." Sent it. Closed the laptop. Poured a drink and waited. She replied in 12 minutes. Her message was short. "Call me." Secure line. And a number with a Proton Mail signature. I should have been relieved. But something about the speed of it made my skin crawl. I called. Dana sounded tired, cautious. I laid it all out, Spectrus Way, the fake posts, the political manipulation, the blackmail. I told her about Blackroom, the ghost clients, the message they left me. "We noticed you're hesitating." She didn't interrupt. Just asked one question when I finished. "Why now?" I told her the truth. I didn't have a noble awakening. I didn't care until they pointed the gun at my life. At my wife. My kid. My sense of reality. I wasn't a hero. I was just a coward trying to escape the fire I helped build. She said she understood. Asked me to send everything. I'll validate what I can. Then we talked publication. I spent the next 4 hours compiling it all. Cleaned the logs, redacted personal data, packed everything into a secure zip with a long-ass passphrase I had to write down by hand. Sent it. Then I waited. And waited. 3 days passed. No reply. I emailed again. Nothing. On the 5th day, her number stopped working. Deadline. The inbox? Inactive. On the 6th day, I saw her name trending on Twitter. She'd published a new piece, headline in bold caps. Digital disinformation cell busted by anonymous source. Meet Theo R. the Puppet Master. I clicked. Skimmed. My stomach turned inside out. She'd published everything. Only it wasn't my story anymore. It was their version. In her piece, Theo R wasn't a victim of Spectre Sway. He was Spectre Sway. According to her, I wasn't just a cog. I was the architect, the mastermind, the manipulator who turned fake outrage into a billion-dollar influence racket. She even quoted anonymous internal messages that painted me as ruthless, obsessed, sociopathic. The kicker? She included screenshots from the files I sent. Redacted, yes, but stylized in a way that made me look like a Bond villain. And the comments ate it up. Thousands of shares. Verified accounts calling for an arrest. Reddit threads trying to dox me. LinkedIn posts distancing themselves from me in light of recent revelations. My old IT firm quietly scrubbed my name from the staff list. Just gone. Spectre Sway didn't bury me with lies. They buried me with truth curated, contorted, and dressed up for public execution. Lisa read the article. She didn't say a word. Just put the printout on the kitchen table and walked upstairs. The silence hurt more than screaming would have. I checked the hidden server again, hoping to find some remaining piece of leverage. One chat transcript stood out, dated the day after I first hesitated on the vaccine job. Let him burn. No sender name. No recipient. Just a decision, cold and clean. They'd planned this. They'd been planning this. Because Spectre Sway doesn't lose people. They recycle them. Repurpose the carcass as a warning. And once you're outside the firewall, they don't just erase you, they remaster you. I shut the laptop and looked around my home, the life I built on illusion and inertia. Everything I touched had fingerprints of the machine on it. And now that machine wore my face. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to trust. But I knew one thing. I wasn't going down quiet. I left everything behind. Not in a dramatic, movie-style, smash the phone and vanish into the woods kind of way. More like a man slipping out the back door of his own life while no one's looking. I packed a bag. Grabbed cash from the emergency stash I never thought I'd need. Walked out while Lisa slept. Our daughter's nightlight casting soft shadows on the hallway wall. I didn't leave a note. What could I say? Sorry for building a digital empire of lies. Hope therapy helps. I spent the first week bouncing between budget motels and co-working spaces in neighboring states. Always different Wi-Fi networks, burner laptops, pay-as-you-go phones. I used the same tools I once deployed to make lies go viral, but now, I use them to disappear. But I didn't hide to escape. I hid to fight back. Because I'd realized something, Spectre Sway's power didn't come from surveillance or sabotage. It came from control of narrative. They didn't care what the truth was. They only cared who got to say it first, loudest, and with the prettiest infographics. And for once, I had something they didn't, the full story. So I built a site. Plain HTML, no tracking, hosted on a rotating series of IPs routed through 3 continents. I called it Ghost in the Algorithm. A confession. A manifesto. A roadmap. Every job I'd ever done, cataloged. Every fake post. Every burner account. But this time, with context. With remorse. With names. And I didn't release it all at once. That would have made it easy for them to scrub. I dripped it out. 1 post a day. 1 operation at a time. I sent links to journalists they hadn't bought. Bloggers too small to be noticed. Dark web forums that thrive on chaos. Each leak told a part of the truth they couldn't twist. That Spectre Sway didn't create villains. It made them. Groomed them. Paid them. Weaponized their apathy. And slowly, people started to notice. The journalists who had ignored me before suddenly found their inboxes full of corroboration. One even wrote a follow-up to Dana's hit piece. The man behind Theo R speaks, and the truth is uglier than you think. It wasn't vindication, but it was a crack. Then something unexpected happened. One of Spectre Sway's own reached out. Alias, Nix. The message was short. I read your drops. You're not wrong. They did it to me too. I replied cautiously. Prove it. They did. Gave me access to internal documents. Chat logs. Deployment schedules. Even a list of known clients. Real ones, corporations, PACs, influencers with million-dollar smile deals. Spectre Sway wasn't just a shadow agency. It was the internet. And for a brief, burning moment, I realized how deep the rot went. How much we've been conditioned to trust manufactured consensus. How many organic trends were carefully timed detonations. How many debates were choreographed fights between paid actors. Nix wanted to help me leak the rest. Said she had nothing left to lose. I told her we'd need more than leaks. We needed spectacle. So we picked the loudest moment of the year, a major tech summit in San Francisco. Thousands of journalists, executives, policymakers, all under one roof, pretending to talk about digital ethics while sipping sponsored cocktails. And at exactly 3:15 p.m., during a keynote speech titled, Trust in the Digital Age, we hijacked the summit's feed. Live stream replaced. Slides overwritten. Up came a video. Nix's voice narrating over screenshots, transcripts, videos. The real Black Room. The real Spectre Sway. The crowd froze. Phones lit up. Tweets flew. And for the first time, the machine choked on its own narrative. Of course, it didn't collapse overnight. The media spun, the PR firms danced. But something had shifted. The story had gotten out before they could rewrite it, before they could bury me again. Now, I live off-grid. Still moving. Still watching. Still leaking. Lisa hasn't reached out. I don't blame her. I wouldn't trust me either. But sometimes, I see my daughter's school district trending on Twitter. New policies about media literacy. Warnings about bot accounts. Parents asking smarter questions. And I like to think maybe, just maybe, I pulled one brick from the tower before it crushed everyone beneath it. I don't get to be the hero. But at least I'm no longer the ghost. I'm the glitch they couldn't erase.